I said it before, I never thought of her being a leader. I think this is the problem with people handpicked by President Mugabe. She was handpicked, so was Honorable Vice President Nangagwa, so was Honorable Vice President Poko. And Mugabe will always challenge you and say to you, you are not strong within ZANU-PF. Why do you think you should lead? He remains the only person in a Congress that is elected genuinely. The rest are not. After he is elected, he then appoints them. So you must understand his system, his way of going about things. So there is no ways. And I think Zimbabweans in desperate need for change then thought Mujuru would lead. But leadership is certainly shown when other people are expelled for your own aspirations and you're not able to defend them. She failed to defend them. She has more strength now outside ZANU-PF than within ZANU-PF. She's able to attack Grace outside ZANU-PF, yet she could have done that within ZANU-PF and stopped this mayhem from happening. She's renowned for having gone to the war and shot a helicopter and so forth. That's the courage that I was looking forward to when she was in ZANU-PF, so that the economy and the state of the country and of the party would not be where it is if they really said we went to war, to defend this. So for me, it's pretty clear that she has lost the plot. She was a product of her husband, and as soon as the husband was no more, she was not there anymore. And I think it would serve her better to focus on farming rather than on the political career which she intends to embark on. She's not well trained in terms of articulation of issues, substandard statements. You zero in on the big queen issue, which is not even relevant to the economy of the country. I was saying to my uncle the other day, joking with him, Comrade Mutasa said, but when I look at Mbuya, she's certainly much prettier than Mujuru and more attractive. And Sekuru, were you really serious that you really wanted to go for her and so forth? She publicly has attacked her husband before that for him going astray, going for other women and so forth. So the question I have for her is that if your own husband could not see you attractive, why do you think other men should see you attractive? That goes without saying. She's gone public attacking her husband many times of him not being a one-man woman and her being neglected, and as a result, they certainly had instability in their home. I don't know why she forgets such things. I wonder that I think you're opening a can of worms the moment that you go personal and talk about people, especially personal relationships. I think it's sad. And why is she saying it now? If she really wanted to defend the girl child, why did she not say it immediately when it happened? Not after you have been fired or after you have fired others. What truth in this? So she will never protect the girl child. She will allow the girl child to be raped, and after the girl child has been raped, she then comments. I think, I thought she would really say, no, I'm firing these men immediately, or they're not part of this party, because it's not only about her. She's basically saying that they are able to do that to every female in the party. So they become really a nuisance to the party. So why did she not stop the rot? So to me, I think it's rather sad that she then opens a can of worms, which is unnecessary at this point in time. What is critical is the economy. First Lady, I looked at a statement, contrary to what other people think. She is supporting her husband. My mother would equally do the same. Your mother would equally do the same. But the First Lady must understand that we are not all married to the President, and we don't feel for the President the way she feels for the President. I think that's what she forgot, that the electorate is different. The electorate is not married to the President. But, I say kudos to the First Lady for standing up for the husband. Every woman would do that. And I think she certainly enjoys more than anybody else in being the First Lady, and she certainly would want that to continue. So I saw absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, she is better off going around having to praise her husband than having to really shout at people. I think that's a better role for her in supporting her husband, saying he's the right man. even in his grave, he'll be able to rule and so forth. Listen, I think it's what we must do after, which is what is important and so forth. We cannot change that mindset. It's always there and so forth. But what certainly comes to mind is that, and I've come with this tagline. Okay, voting for Mugabe 2018 is voting for Grace Mugabe. Voting for Robert Mugabe 2018 is voting for Grace Mugabe. That's really what it is. The president certainly hasn't got the capacity anymore from a physical point of view. Intellectually he might have, but from a physical point of view, to really comprehend and to deal with some of these issues. And naturally, even when my father is struggling, he needs medication, he's sick, it's my mother who comes to his aid. So when you've got somebody coming to your aid, you start relying on them. Unfortunately, you know, the executive powers are usurped in that regard, you know, and I think that's where the worrying concern is, the incapability of a president to comprehend, to address issues. Who else does he trust the most? It's obviously the wife, the first lady, who's there to equally support that. So to me, I think these are some of the issues which I think are pretty critical in terms of what is to happen and so forth. You know, talking about the succession issue within ZANU-PF, the president will not fire Mnangagwa, but he will not give him power. He will not fire Mnangagwa, but he will not give him power. So that's his game. He continues to go. There's no ways, if you understand politics and you belong to an institution like ZANU-PF, where they go to conference and they endorse the president to be the candidate 2018, you cannot change it. That's what it is. But it seems as if Zimbabweans are failing to accept the decision of ZANU-PF, which is wrong, instead of accepting it and coming up with measures to counter that. This is the issue. I don't know how many times that people, you know, we are taking time to realize this. ZANU-PF has endorsed him for life. Not only 2018, but for life. You know, and that being the case, we now need to find ways of seeing how best we can strategize on that. And I think this is where I totally agree with the third force, that it will eat within ZANU-PF, the core of the ZANU-PF people. We are talking to people like Didmas and Tassa right now, Rugare Gumbo, the war veterans, so that we then go and penetrate in the areas that the opposition has failed to penetrate. There's no point being in the urban. The real war is in the rural areas where 72% of the electorate is. We are not at core going to divide the vote, because we're going for a territory which has never been won by the opposition. So the opposition must not be concerned or fear that we're going to split the vote. If there's anything, we're going to complement our efforts and go into zones which they are not well known. Temba Mliswa going into rural Kariba, Siakovo, as provincial chairman, seeing the chiefs, they know me. They know me. I can talk to them. I can convince them. Going to Sanyati, seeing Chief Ojeri, I can go there. They know me. I operated in the area. I was a provincial chairman. I was ZANU-PF. I can equally go and say to them, you see, I was expelled for lies and not for the truth. And they now know that. So to me, why then ask somebody from MDC to go into an area where they are not strong at? So we're very clear about that. So there is no ways, and I must make this very, very clear. We are not about slogans. We are not about insults. We are about proffering a solution. An economic blueprint is being put together which will counter what ZANU-PF has done. We've got the technocrats who are working on it, and in due course, like I say, we are talking to people like Nkosana Moyo, Shingimnyeza, Mtuli Nube. But if they don't want to come, I'm sure they can share their whole vision from an economic point of view, and how Mtuli Nube is a doctor, is a professor of economics at Wits. Why would he not give us a document that would see this country being turned around? And what we believe in, the 210 MPs must have a buy-in into it. It's a different way and approach where we are inviting them to the buy-in in terms of economic blueprint, then take it to the ground and talk to the people. So do we need the presidential candidate to go to the ground? No. We need the messenger with the word to go to the ground to talk to the councillors, and then we start operating from that point. That's what we are certainly advocating for. So I think with that, if there are any questions that people might want to ask, I leave it to you.